Hello everybody and welcome to the UKEndZone Football Daily Podcast. On today, the 13th of August 2014, we're going with round 2, part 2 of my fantasy football preview of Neer Shah today. Hope you checked out yesterday. If you didn't check out, make sure you go and listen to part 1, then roll off part 2 today. And as always, we'll speak to you tomorrow. Genuine sleeper that I absolutely love, and guys are going to go ahead of him, particularly the guy below him in Marshawn Lynch. Again, based off reputation, Monty Ball. He's going to be sensational this year. Like you said, diamond nickel packages for Peyton the whole time. And Peyton is a good enough quarterback. Not that Aaron Rodgers isn't, I think he's the best in the game. Don't misunderstand me, but I think Peyton is more willing to check and hand off the ball.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, if Moreno can do it, so can Ball. My hesitance with putting Ball, just about running back 9 is the fact that I'm not very high on drafting rookies at the running back position. And sure, he's not a rookie, but he might as well have been.
Might as well be, yeah.
Last year, he didn't see much playing time. But he's got enough, training reps. He's got enough experience in the offense as far as playbook and stuff is concerned, such that I think he will have a really good season. So he's one of the very few running backs where I consider them to be a rookie, but I'm still going pretty high on them.
And I think Freddie Morris has dropped this year. I mean, I'm looking at your rankings, and last year I think I took him 4th or 5th overall. Actually, Freddie Morris, people not believing him because of the injury. What's going on with Freddie?
Partly to do with that, but I think it's mostly a case of not being able to be a receiver out of the backfield, and that's what's hurting him. Sure, he's not had a chance really to prove that he is a good receiver out of the backfield, but I think the staff in Washington, the coaching staff, the fact that they kept using Roy Halou last year as a third down running back kind of proved that Morris isn't that third down back. And if he's only there for the first 2 downs, it's very hard to see him, justify a really high running back pick if he's just going to be a first and second down back.
Who's the best of the late round? The players who are on the rise, the running back who we're going to look at and go, wow, that was someone really snagged him at Turner League. Will it be a Joyke Bell? Will it be a Lance Dunbar for the Cowboys? Who's the running back who you know that when you draft him, maybe a round before you should do, because you're the guy in the know, you're going to be like rubbing your hands anyway because you think this is going to be a game changer?
I'd say that guy is Maurice Jones-Drew for me. He's not that many seasons off being, the NFL's leading rusher on the ground, and he didn't have a great season, let's be honest, last year in Jacksonville. But did you see that line he was playing behind? I'm not surprised he couldn't run for anything really, and he's still got his talent. He's still that bruising back who's shifty enough to bounce it wide, pick up yards, drag tacklers. And he's entering an offense which has 0 playmakers in the passing game, from quarterback down to receiver and tight end. So they're not going to be able to do anything except run the ball. And he's still pretty low down in most people's rankings, considering that. And I mean, who's sharing the backfield with, right? Mm-hmm. Darren McFadden.
I know, man. Though those running backs, they hit a wall and they never come back. It's just they get that one hit too many, and he is a genuine implosion running back where he will go between the tackles, between the creases, and just take hit after hit and take serious punishment. I think he might just be done there.
He might be, and this might be the season we see it. However, he may be Frank Gore. He may be closer to Gore than he is to Steven Jackson. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those where he's going so late in the draft anyway right now. I would not mind taking a late round flyer. If he pans out and if he ends up being the Frank Gore of Oakland, I'll be pleased. And if he doesn't, well, I plan to have my starting running backs drafted before then anyway, so it won't hurt me too much.
When I'm looking at late round flyers here, you're probably looking at the rookies. You got Kadeem Carey. If he's going to get enough carries, maybe you take a flyer on Marcus Lastman at the 49ers. I really like Christine Michael for the Seahawks, because I think they're really not going to limit Lynch. I just don't think he's going to see as much of the ball as we would expect the Marshawn Lynch to see.
Yeah, I mean, all the hype out of Seattle's camp has been that Christine Michael's been incredible. But when you look at it, first of all, I expect Russell Wilson and the passing game to open up a little bit. I mean, not enough to, warrant leaving Michael off my rankings. But the main thing is, even if they decide to reduce the load for Marshawn Lynch to carry, I don't think it's going to be just Christine Michael who's going to lift that load. It's going to be Robert Turbin as well. Keep in mind, he is the guy who was established backup behind Lynch last year, and he's certainly done nothing to show that he can't handle the load himself. Yeah, I feel like a backup who's fighting for snaps to be that backup is not worth drafting in fantasy football. If Turbin was to get injured, if Lynch was to get injured, Christine Michael would rocket up my board. But for now, there's just too many people in that backfield where I can't trust anyone except for Lynch.
I love taking late round flyers on rookies. I know you said about your rankings you don't like taking, but everyone likes taking a shot on rookies. And more often than not, they get overdrafted. Some fool's going to take Johnny before we even know where he's playing. And he might develop into a nice fantasy quarterback because he can run around and stuff. But probably the top rookies are Bishop Sankey, Cooks, Watkins, Benjamin, Ebron, in some sort of order. Would you say they're the top guys? How would you have the rookies? How do you have them out right now?
Yeah, I mean, Sankey's walking into a great position in Tennessee. He's sharing the backfield with Sean Green.
So he's won the job, is what he's done.
Exactly. He's got the job, exactly. You got Kelvin Benjamin, who's the best receiver they have in Carolina. Odell Beckham Jr. is another person who will feature heavily in 3 wide sets and could beat Ruben Randall out to pick up the slack opposite Victor Cruz. You got a couple of other rookie receivers like Sammy Watkins, another Benjamin kind of guy who is clearly the number one weapon in his offense. But I think as far as ranking them, I'd say Sankey is the out-and-out number one just because of the situation he's playing in, and closely followed by the likes of Benjamin and Watkins. Cooks is someone I absolutely love. I mean, hands down, I will admit, leading up to the draft, I was a bit disappointed that the Saints didn't draft Marquise Lee and went with Cooks instead.
And now you've watched some YouTube tape.
Yeah, I know. I know I'm going to take a lot of stick for that, but I'm really, really pleased with what I'm seeing from Cooks. Having said that, I try to stay away from Saints players in fantasy football just because of the too many mouths to feed thing.
I'll take him. I think he's going to be exceptional in the offense. I really do. When everyone's double teaming Jimmy Graham, the little Brandon Cooks is going to be available and he's going to take the ball to the house because I think he's just a bigger bodied, better version of Tavon Austin. Tavon went so high in the draft. So, I'm crazy eye on him. And someone like a Jason Mara as well. I don't know who's going to quarterback for the Jets, but again, when you're looking at those tight ends, it's the difference once you get outside of Thomas, Gronkowski, and if people believe in Jordan Cameron, you want to believe in him, that's fine. And Jimmy Graham, to everyone else, it's so negligible from like the 5th guy to whoever. It may be worth just saying, I'm going to take one steady guy like a Dennis Pitta, although he's probably going to get overdrafted. And then I'm just going to take a shot on Jason Mara and hope that the Jets have no one else to throw to and the quarterbacks get friendly with Jace.
Oh, no doubt. As I said, beyond 7 or 8, all the tight ends are pretty much the same to me. The reason I'm not too high on Amaro, enough to at least put him into my top 20 at the tight end position, is the fact that he'll be fighting for snaps with the likes of Jeff Cumberland, who, I mean, it's Jeff Cumberland, sure, but he did play well in limited snaps last year. And the Jets don't have an established quarterback. They don't focus much on the passing game. They're more of a bruising run-first team. I mean, all those factors weigh up against Amaro. But, as I said, it's a fantasy hellhole, the tight end position. You can pick whatever you want and you won't be, it's not going to affect the game that much.
Do you have a do not draft list?
I do, sort of.
It's all about value. I get it's about value, but there's got to be some guys who you're even like. I mean, Chris Johnson. No one should draft Chris Johnson anymore.
Oh yeah, but I don't think it's because of lack of talent. It's a case of, again, value for me. I know you don't want to hear that, but I guess the answer to your question is I don't really have a do not draft list. But at the same time, people whose ADPs are 2 rounds higher than what I have them ranked practically belong on my do not draft list, as there's no way I'm going to touch them.
You know, I think I'm going to try and steal this year, who again comes from that football program that backs up my Eddie Lacy theory. I might go with Trent Richardson. I think that offense is better than people think, and he's going to snag a ton of goal line touchdowns that he doesn't deserve to get.
No doubt. I think Richardson's one of those mid to late round running backs that you can pick up if you ever went into a wide receiver heavy kind of strategy. You know, he's someone who you know will get the ball. He's going to be a bell cow for them, even though he may not deserve to be. And he will pick up those yards and, you know, the odd goal line touchdowns here and there. The questions I have about Richardson are mainly, well, I mean, obviously to do with his own talent, which he still hasn't proven yet, but also that offensive line in Indianapolis. I don't think it's very good at all. I think Luck is going to get beaten pretty badly this year from opposing pass rushers, and they're not going to be able to create lanes as either. They all rank as one of the worst offensive lines this year, in my opinion, and that's kind of the asterisk on drafting Trent Richardson, other than the fact that he's Trent Richardson.
No doubt. Andrew Luck got hit double the amount of the second guy in the league last year. He's the most hit player in football.
Wow.
It's unbelievable. I was looking at it early today. I'm going to give you 5 quarterbacks now, right? So we've been the first time round. You've picked up Romo. You're all in with Romo. You trust the back. And everyone's going around for the second time of trying to sneak a quarterback. I'm going to give you Ryan Tannehill, EJ Manuel, Sam Bradford, Teddy Bridgewater, and Johnny Manziel. Who are you taking?
Oh, Ryan Tannehill, no doubt. I like Bridgewater, I like Manziel, they're rookies. I'm not going to draft a rookie.
Is there a chance that EJ is decent this second year? I mean, I don't believe in him, but is there a chance he's got Watkins? There's some talent around him. The defense is going to be loaded, so he's going to have a chance to get the ball often enough.
No doubt, but then you can use that kind of what if scenario with any quarterback, really. You know, EJ Manuel can certainly be a competent quarterback and a good fantasy quarterback because of his rushing, you know, his ability to, tripping all over my words, his ability to run and pick up yards on the ground. But, you know, the same can be said for Jake Locker. The same can be said for, Teddy Bridgewater, Johnny Manziel. You know, it depends on if that will actually happen, if the light goes on for EJ Manuel. And it's an if. I'd rather not user pick drafting, really. I'll wait for that light to come on and then pick him up in the waivers in mid-season. But for now, I'll go with a safer, sure thing as a backup like Ryan Tannehill, who may not have been the greatest quarterback last year, but showed a lot of promise. And, hopefully the rate he goes, he'll be good enough. I mean, if Ryan Tannehill's light goes on, he'll be great, but I'm looking at the floor for my backup, and Tannehill's floor is higher than EJ Manuel's.
And the famous question I have to ask every fantasy person who comes onto a podcast just before drafts: when do you draft defense? When do you draft a kicker? Or should you just wait? I usually wait for the waiver, especially for the kicker, but is it worth me drafting them at an actual point?
No doubt. I fully agree with you. I never draft a kicker because it's a waste of a spot. Any given week is really, really hard to project what kicker is going to score 3 field goals as opposed to 2 extra points. It's one of those where if you can accurately predict that, you're a prophet. And, there's no point in wasting a roster spot. Instead, you can use that roster spot to pick up, someone like Mark Ingram, who is usually available at that point, or Greg Jennings. You pick a guy up like that and, wait it out till week 1, see what's going on, with your wide receiver core or your running back core. And if someone goes down through injury, or if someone's suddenly performed really badly in their last preseason game or something, just before the first game, drop them, pick up whatever name tickles your fancy at kicker. Oh, his name looks funny, let me add him. And it will serve you well. As for defense, that's my second, that is my last pick, actually. Defense is
just something
I usually draft, but with my last pick of the draft. And I tend to end up getting pretty much the 10th best or the 12th best defense out there. But again, unless you have Seattle or San Francisco or something, a defense like that, you're not really fussed about which defense you get. To be honest, you can stream defenses based on the matchup every week. Just pick up whatever defense has,
EJ Manuel playing against.
Yeah,
no doubt. Because people are listening now, and someone in their draft is going to go ahead and select the Seahawks in like the 5th round, something crazy. We know it's going to happen because it's either going to be their first year, or they're going to be like buying into that they get to have Richard Sherman or something on their team. Because people do this in fantasy football every year now. For some reason, they think they crack the code, and they'll run through their roster and only come back to drafting backups once they've been through their roster. But there's no difference than in drafting the Jets, who is the draft kit I'm looking at here. They have the Jets ranked as the 14th best defense. I'd take the Jets defense any day.
I'll tell you what, take the Jets, no doubt. Take the Saints. They're ranked in the 20s. They finished in the top 5 last year in total defense, despite having a really pass-heavy offense, which usually means your defense struggles. And they added, Jairus Byrd at the back end, who's going to pick off a couple of more interceptions as well. I mean, why bother picking the Seahawks? Just because of the Legion of Boom. Well, great. While you really happy with Sherman leading your defense, I'm going to be picking the likes of Julius Thomas instead, or whoever happens to be available in the 5th, 6th round, which is pretty much anyone, really.
No doubt about it. All right, Neer, thank you for joining us on the Football Daily Podcast, the daily football podcast we do at UKEndZone. The last thing before we let you go, is there any single draft tip? I know it's impossible, but something that may help someone win a league. How about something like take Emmanuel Sanders? No one's going to take me. He plays for the Broncos and Peyton now.
Well, my pieces of advice would be pick Michael Floyd. You can get him around before his ADP, and that will still be producing a lot of value. And my second piece of advice is know who you're drafting with. I mean, I'm going to be drafting with a couple of fellas in my primary league who I played with last year, so I know them in and out. I know that one guy likes to draft rookies higher up. I know that one guy, prefers Green Bay players. You use those things while drafting, and that's going to give you a real edge.
You know that Tom Moore's going to take Aaron Rodgers in the 1st round, no matter what pick he has.
Oh, no doubt. If he lasts.
No. All right, man. Thanks for doing this. We'll have you on again throughout the season and through the weeks to help us out with the fantasy stuff.
Oh, cannot wait.
Cheers, man.